Welcome back to Sports Betting Top Picks and Plays. This is for the college basketball evening edition. This is for the night games. My name is Abby. We're going to discuss a set of games for the evening edition, the evening slate. We do have a few games here that we want to touch upon that we didn't touch upon in the earlier video for the early day games. So we're going to start off with the 6 o'clock game, 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time game. This is going to be Fordham at Richmond. Again, we get these lines here from oddslogic.com. This gives you the latest up-to-date live movements, point spread movements, over-unders, totals, and the injury report. That's oddslogic.com. Okay, so we see the line here, Richmond -1, total 140. Now, all of a sudden, we're seeing in a few books that Fordham is the favorite now at 1.5. So mainly we see Pickens was mainly Fordham 1.5, and the total now it's come down to 139.5. So the total's dropped. It hasn't really moved that much. So we're gonna look into this now. We'll definitely take a look at this. We'll check out the early number here. I do have a play on this game for sure. I like this play here. Just waiting for that to come up. That's Fordham at Richmond. That's 6 o'clock this afternoon. The line should be popping up at any moment. So you see it here. Again, Fordham all of a sudden is the favorites. The public's on Fordham. I have a play on this one. The total is 140. It's been sitting at 140 for most of the day. Hasn't really moved. So we'll look into this game further. Look at the heads-to-head and everything else for this game. So it's a 6 o'clock game tonight, the evening game.
Halftime.
So this game will flip through here 6 o'clock so you can find it. So look at this game here, Fordham. Okay, here we are. Fordham versus Richmond. So this game here, we're going to look at
halftime.
Now they did play. This is January 31st was a year ago. That's last year. That's last year. So this is the first meeting this season. Fordham and Richmond. So Fordham 3-7 overall last 10 games. 6-4 last 10 games.
Halftime.
6-4 against the spread last 10 games. 6-4 to the over. That's Fordham. So Fordham is 3-2 last 5 games.
Halftime.
And the over/under, they are, as you can see here, they are
halftime.
4-1 to the over. That's Fordham. So Fordham favorites.
Halftime.
On the road. This is their first time. Let's see here.
Halftime.
Yeah, this is their first time being a favorite on the road. So Richmond was favored early enough. All of a sudden, Fordham's favored. That's interesting. Richmond 1-9 last 10, 3-7 against the spread, 5-5 over under. Richmond, they lost 2 straight games. They're 1-4 last 5 games, and are, let's see, 4-1 to the over. Richmond 4-1 to the over in this game. 4-1 last 5 games. That's Richmond. So for me in this game, I have a play in this game that I like. I do like. Let's look at this. Let me look at this again. I'll show you on the screen here. Yes, so I do like Richmond here. I like Richmond. See, my thing is with these teams, a team that was initially favored from the opening line of -1 at 140, and now all of a sudden they're an underdog at 1.5 or 1. I tend to go with the team that was initially favored, which was Richmond. So I like Richmond in this spot. Is this basically a public move with money pouring in on Fordham to make them the favorite. So for me, I like Richmond here for that reason. And number two, the other reason too is Fordham hasn't really covered, as we see here, they haven't really covered on the road. So if you look at their road games, they've never been favored on the road. On the road at Davidson here, VCU, and George Washington, they haven't really been favored on the road. So this is new territory for Richmond. This is new territory for Fordham. They've never been favored on the road.
Final.
And Richmond, and the thing is, Richmond has dominated. They've dominated Fordham. They haven't beaten Fordham in about 7 years. They haven't beaten them in 7 years. Richmond has always beaten Fordham. So I gotta back Richmond here. Richmond and the points. I don't have anything on the total. I just like Richmond and the points here. Yeah, I like Richmond here. So that's my play for that game. The next game we're gonna look at, Villanova. Yeah, so it's gonna be Villanova and Providence. That's the next game we're gonna look at. This one here, as you see, opened up -2, total 141. So now we're seeing it go to 2.5. That's Villanova Providence, 2.5. So 141 now 142, 2.5. So it's 2.5. So now we're seeing 143s. So it's 143s coming up. But still numbers at 2.5. Hasn't really gone to 3 yet. Still 2.5. This is a 6 o'clock game where we're seeing 143. So we're going to look into this further. We'll definitely look into this one here as we pull the line up. So the game's going to come up. Just give it a moment. It's going to pop up on the screen. Just give it some time. Yeah, just give it a bit of time. It's going to come up. Okay, so here we go. So as you can see here, Villanova is 2.5. So it was 3. It opened up. It went to as we see here, it was 2.5. It was 2.5, 3. 2.5, 3. Now back to 2.5. So it's down to 2.5. So I see why Providence is getting the money. They're getting the money here. The total is at 143. So it's gone all the way to 143 now. So so it's on the over. Let's look into this one further. Let's take a look at this. Take a deep dive into this game. It's a Big East game.
Halftime.
Very important Big East game tonight. So this is a 6 o'clock game.
Halftime.
We'll definitely look into this one. So as we see it here, Villanova. Okay, so here we are, Villanova Providence. This is the matchup here. So as you can see here,
halftime.
They have played already. They played last month in Villanova. Villanova was a 9-point favorite, as you can see. Providence covered the 9 points, but Villanova won at home 75-73. It was a very close game. And it was at 140. The total at that time was 140 and went over the total. Now since then, that was the 17th of January, and then since then, Villanova, the last 10 games, 5-5 last 10, 4-6 against the spread, 5-5 over under. So there are three straight wins in this series. 3 straight wins on this one for Villanova. All 3 wins, 2 of the wins have been at home. 2 at home, 1 on the road. So they've covered 1 game on the road against DePaul, you can see, covered in 1. 1 game against Xavier at home, they covered in 1. And they were an underdog against St. John's and beat St. John's. And they've gone over in 2 straight games, overall 3-2 to the over. Meanwhile, Providence, 4-6 last 10, 5-5 against the spread, 9-1 to the over. Providence has lost 4 straight games. They're 1-4 last 5 games. They have covered 2 out of the 4 losses. They've covered 2 of the games. They've covered 2 games. 2 games they've covered on the road. At home, they haven't been playing good at home. In terms of an underdog, they haven't been playing that well at home. Providence is 4-1 to the over. So again, the only way I can look at this game, both teams are playing to the over. So I have to take the over here. That's my play in this game. I have to take over 140. I believe it's 140. I saw 141. Let me see if it's 142. I'm gonna double check, but I'm definitely playing the over. It's over 143 now. It's 143. So 142.5, 143. I'm definitely taking the over here. I like over the total. That's Villanova Providence. That one is at 6 p.m. Let's see here. Villanova Providence. Yeah, I like the over. Over 141. Sorry, over 142.5. Definitely like the over in this one. That's my play for that game. The next game we're going to look at is going to be Mississippi State versus Mississippi. This one here opened up 4.5, Mississippi. Total 147. Now it's come back down the spread. It's 3.5. So it's 4.5, 4 now 3, mainly 3.5 across the board. I'd say we're seeing some 4s, mainly 3.5, and the total is sitting at 146.5. Yeah, 146.5, 3.5 here. Okay, so we're gonna look into this one further. I'll take a look here. Wait for the lines to come up. That'll be the line history. So as you can see here, Mississippi State, Mississippi. As you can see, the line history here, 4, 4.5. Let's get it here. Get it back here again. So 4, 4.5, 4, 3.5. But now it's back to 4. So it's sitting at 4. Mississippi getting out they're getting out the public here. Public side Mississippi. The total is at, let's look at this one here. The total is at 146.5. That's for that game. So we'll look into this game further. That's Mississippi State, Mississippi. Another 6 o'clock start. Definitely look into this one. Another late game start here at Mississippi State. Here we are. So look at the head-to-head to see if they face each other before. Yes, they faced each other last month. So about a month ago, they faced each other. That's January 18th in Mississippi State.
Final.
Mississippi State was a 6-point favorite. Ole Miss covered, but Mississippi State won in overtime, 84-81, and went over the total. They have gone over the total in this series 4 straight times. So we're going to look into this further. Mississippi State overall last 10 games 4-6, 2-8 against the spread, 6-4 to the over. They are 2-3 last 5 games. Mississippi State, and are 3-2 to the over. Ole Miss 6-4 last 10, 4-5-1 against the spread, 5-5 over under. Ole Miss 3 straight wins. They are 4-1 last 5 games, and are 3-2 to the over. So both teams are playing to the over. Yeah, both teams are playing to the over. First meeting went over as you saw earlier. Now regarding the spread, it's Mississippi. Ole Miss is 3.5-point favorites. They have won 3 straight games. Yeah, they have won 3 straight. Mississippi State has dominated. They have dominated the series in this one. Yeah, they've dominated the series. Yeah, they've dominated the series here. They've won 3 straight. They've covered 2. They have covered 2 games in a row. They covered South Carolina. They covered Kentucky. South Carolina on the road. They covered Kentucky. Texas they didn't cover. Well, they've covered their last 2 games. Mississippi State. They haven't been that impressive on the road to me. The only way I can look in this game, let me look at this carefully here again. Let me get an update and look at this carefully. Yeah, for me, the only way to play this game is going to be Ole Miss. Ole Miss 3.5 minus 4 and the over. So Ole Miss or Mississippi 3.5. And I like the over 146.5. I like the over in this game, so I like that. That's my play on that game. The next game we're going to look at, as we take a look at these games. Let's see. It's going to pop up on the screen, guys. Don't worry. It's a little bit slow. It's going to pop up. Yeah, the next game we're going to look at. Let's see. North Carolina at Syracuse. That's our next game. This one opened up 6.5, as you can see. Total 153.5. This is gone now 153.5. 152.5. It's 8.5. So it's 8.5 at 152.5. That's an interesting move. So it's dropped down by a point. Not a lot of movement in this game. Very little movement. We'll look into this further. Really not a lot of movement in this game. Let's see. Yeah, it's been very quiet. Publix on North Carolina. They're getting the ticket count. So Publix on North Carolina here. Well, the totals come down to 152. So not really a lot of movement on the total. Let's look at this game here carefully. It's a 6 o'clock start. That's Syracuse at home versus North Carolina. Definitely look into this one. 6 o'clock start. Let's see.
Final.
So here we are. Let's see this game here. So this is the first meeting of the season between these two teams. First meeting. So North Carolina overall 5-5 last 10 against other opposition, 2-7 against the spread, 3-7 to the under. So North Carolina on the road. They haven't really covered on the road at all. And this is the first time they were favored on the road of this nature, of this magnitude. So 2-3 last 5 games, and are 3-2 to the over last 5 games. Let's see. Yep, 3-2 to the over. Syracuse 4-6 last 10, 7-3 against the spread, 5-5 over under. Syracuse has been flip-flopping wins and losses. They are 2-3 last 5 games, and are 2-3 to the under. So that's interesting. Syracuse a home dog at +8. Let's see. They were a home dog to to Duke, and Duke beat them up. Home dog to Pitt. They covered Pitt. They covered Notre Dame as a home dog. So basically, they're 2-2 as a home dog. Basically, 2-2 as a home dog. North Carolina hasn't really covered. Yeah, they haven't really done anything here. Let's look at the total. They've gone over in 2 straight meetings. Head to head. Actually, both of them, let me see. Yeah, 3-2 to the over. This is at 152. The thing is, the line hasn't really moved much. It's pretty quiet. The line hasn't really moved, in my opinion. The line hasn't really moved. There's not a lot of movement on this line. Very, very little movement. So I'm gonna lean to the under. Right now it's at 152. Yeah, I'm gonna lean to the under in this game. Under 152.5. Like I said, there's not a lot of line movement in this game. It's been very stale. That's the reason why I like the under in this game. It hasn't really moved too heavy. So under 152.5 for me. I don't have a play on the total, just the under for this game. That's it. The next game I see here. Let's look here. The next game we're looking at. We'll take a look. Let's see. There's some games here, some interesting games here. So we have one here, Michigan at Illinois. This one's -5. It opened up, total 156.5. We're seeing now it's gone to 7s. We're seeing 7s, but mainly 6.5s, but it's starting to get to 7. And the total we're looking at 158.5. And it's gone to 7. So go check it out here. We're definitely going to look into this game here. This is Illinois at home versus Illinois at home versus Michigan State. It's all the way to 7. Illinois, the public's all over Illinois, as you can see. Public plays on Illinois. They're getting the majority of the tickets. So the public's on Illinois. And we're going to look at the total. The total in this game, 158.5.
Alert.
So definitely going to look at the total in this game. Let's take a look. Let's look at this matchup. A lot of 6 o'clock games tonight. A lot of 6 o'clock games. A lot of 6 o'clock games coming up here. So we'll find it here, Illinois versus Michigan. Find this one here. It's one of the big matchups tonight. Trying to look through it and try and rinse through here and find it quickly. Illinois at Michigan. It's probably past 6 o'clock. Let me see here. Let me look. Pardon me, the game is at 8 o'clock tonight. Michigan and Illinois is 8 o'clock tonight. My apologies. Got the times mixed up. So we're looking into this game further. Yeah, these teams played about a month ago. They played last month in Michigan. Michigan was a 1-point favorite. Michigan actually won the game. Covered in 180-78. It was under 160. So yeah, it's been under 160. So looking into this game now, Michigan State 7-3 last 10, 5-4-1 against the spread, 4-6 to the under. They are 2-3 last 5 games and are 1-4 to the under. That's Michigan State. Now they're an underdog. They're an underdog at UCLA. They covered. But in the conference game, this is the first time in conference play that they're an underdog. Illinois, meanwhile, 5-5 last 10, 4-6 against the spread, 7-3 to the over. Illinois has won 2 straight games. They are 3-2 last 5 games and are 3-2 to the over. So Michigan State 1-4 to the under. Illinois is 7-point favorites. They covered 7 points against Minnesota on the road, though, but at home against UCLA, they didn't cover, -7. They covered Ohio State at home. That's Illinois as a 6.5-point favorite. They covered Northwestern at home. They didn't cover Maryland. Just looking at all the home games in the conference. Let's see. Michigan's won the last 2 games. Illinois, they've done well. They've covered on the road here. You know what I like? I like Illinois here in this spot. I think Illinois gets this is a get right game for Illinois. This is their second game at home, conference opponent, before they hit the road for Wisconsin. I like Illinois here 6.5. Illinois 6.5, and I like the over in this game. This is the 8 p.m. matchup tonight. Yeah, I like Illinois here. 6.5. Let's see. 6.5 Illinois, and I like over this game. Over. Let's see here. Let's get that correct. Over 157.5. So I like both in this game. That's Illinois and Michigan State. That's for that game. All right, so the next game we're going to look at here, as we go through the list of games, Kentucky at Texas. This is the next game we're going to look at. Kentucky at Texas. This one here opened up -1, total 161. Right now it's gone all the way to 4. Texas has gone to 4 now. Yep, it's gone to 4. Mainly 3.5, but we're seeing some 4s on the board here. The total's 159. It's come down to 158. Yeah, 158. And then now we're seeing 159 on the board. Let's see. All right, so we'll check it out here. Check this one here for a moment. See the numbers for this game. Yeah, it's come all the way to 4. That's on Texas. The total, Texas is getting all the public money. And the total is, they got it at 159. So it's gone to the under. Under 159, let's see. Texas, Kentucky. Yeah, so better yet, I would take Texas on the money line. You can money line Texas. Yeah, I'd take Texas on the money line, and I would take the
Final. Final.
I'll take the over 157.5. Let's look at this game further though. We'll take a look at this game further.
Final.
This is an 8 o'clock game, so look into this in more depth. What's our 8 o'clock game? Let's see. Okay, so Michigan, Illinois. Yeah, so look at this further. Let's see. I'm sorry. We already did to Texas. Texas. We already did Illinois. Sorry about that. My apologies. It's supposed to be Texas and Kentucky. Sorry about that. I went to the wrong one. Sorry about that. Texas and Kentucky. Sorry about that, folks. I got that mixed up. A lot of games on the Saturday slate, so it's big slate, so you get confused sometimes. So this is their second meeting. So yeah, that's their second meeting. They played. This is kind of irrelevant because they played 10 years ago, so that doesn't really count. This is the second meeting, so this is basically non-conference. Kentucky 5-5 last 10, 5-5 against the spread, 5-5 over under. Kentucky's won 2 straight games, but both at home. They are 3-2 to the over. Kentucky. Texas 4-6 last 10, 5-4-1 against the spread, 6-4 to the over. Texas has lost 3 straight games. They do have South Carolina. They gotta play South Carolina next week. Let's see. Kentucky has Vanderbilt next week. Yeah, I'm gonna. I like in this game. I like two things. I like the. Let's see here. I like Texas on the money line, like I mentioned, and I like the over. Both teams are playing to the over, so I like the over. In the game, I think I mentioned it earlier. 157.5, and then Texas money line. I like that. Let's see the next game here. So we mentioned that already. Let me see. So I have to double check all that to make sure. Let's look here. Sometimes these games can be overwhelming because there's a lot of basketball games. So much games going on here. We're going to look at Kansas and BYU. That's the next game we're going to look at. That's Kansas BYU. Let's see. Yeah, Kansas BYU. This one opened up -6 BYU at home. Total 146.5. Where now it's come to 147.5. We're seeing 148, and it's gone to 7. And it's 148 right now. Look at the circuit ticket. Yeah, it's a lot of games, a lot of basketball today. So if I confused you guys, I apologize if I confused anybody, but this is a lot of games that's happening today. Not a lot of movement in this one. The total is 148. Kansas BYU is up to 7. Yeah, nothing much here. Yeah, not a lot here. Yeah, not a lot in this one. We'll look into this game here. That's Kansas BYU. We'll look into that one further. Okay. So look at this game here. They played 3 times. Third meeting. Kansas 6-4 last 10 games, 9-1 against the spread, 5-5 over under. Kansas has won 6 straight games, and they've been underdogs. Yes, they've won 6 straight, and they've covered 2 times as an underdog at Arizona State, at Iowa State, covered at Baylor, covered at Kansas. I'm sorry, Kansas State. Yeah, Kansas State. Yeah, I'm looking at. Oh, sorry, I'm looking at the wrong one. Sorry about that. Sorry about that, folks. We do apologize. So it's Kansas BYU we're looking at. Again, we have to apologize for the confusion. So Kansas State, again, they have won 6 straight games. That's Kansas State. They've covered 2 on the road. Covered at ASU, covered at Iowa State, covered at Baylor, at Kansas. So they've covered 4 straight. They're 4-0 as a dog on the road. 5-0 overall, and they are 2-3 to the under. BYU 6-4 last 10, 5-4-1 against the spread, 6-3-1 to the over. BYU coming off a 2-game road trip. They're back at home for this game. They're 3-2 last 5 games, and are 4-1-1. Sorry, 4-0-1 last 5 games to the over. So they're playing to the over. Kansas State's playing to the under. Let's see, the next, Kansas State's got Utah. BYU's got Kansas. This is interesting. Okay, so for this game here, BYU at Kansas State. BYU at home at Kansas State. I'm gonna look here. My take on this game is, let's look. I'm gonna look at the over in this game. I'll take the over 146.5. It's just a lean. I lean to the over. Is this a lean for me in this game? I do like the over in this game. Over 146.5 for me. On the side, nothing on the side, just the over in this game. And that's going to be it for today's games. That's it. My name is Abby. I hope I didn't confuse you guys with the picks. I know there's a little bit of confusion with some of these games because it's an overwhelmingly a lot of games for Saturday. Saturday's the biggest slate for college basketball of the week. So so sometimes you lose track of some of the games, but I hope I didn't confuse you guys. I hope you're able to get some of these picks and plays that I was able to give out. Again, whether you fade or follow, it's up to you. Again, I just look at the games and pick what I like. Just my personal opinion and my preference for what I like. I just hope either way, whether you fade or follow, I hope you cash your tickets. And don't forget to hit the like and subscribe button so we can provide more of these plays for you, give you some more insight for the games, totals, over-unders, spreads, give you more of those plays for you. All right, so again, enjoy the games tonight. I hope you cash your tickets. Stay true to yourself, stay blessed, stay humble. Peace. We'll see you tomorrow.